And while Ole Miss fans are looking to travel safely to Alabama this weekend, Rebel wideout Dontario Drummond is looking to win a national award. And the Rebel volleyball team dropped a tough one to the defending national champions. I'm Emily Cochran, and I'll have more coming up next in sports. Kicking things off on the pitch, Ole Miss soccer will host the number 17 Central Florida Knights at home this evening. Ole Miss volleyball took on the number 6 Kentucky Wildcats in the Gillum Center last night in front of a record crowd. Morant says, "We're building an empire." Well, let's hope that building continues tonight against New York. Moving it over to the gridiron, the Tallahassee Quarterback Club announced that Ole Miss senior Dontario Drummond was one of 8 receivers added to the Bullet Nikoff Award watch list on Wednesday. The Washington football team has unveiled their new name today. They will now be known as the Washington Commanders. We are still a long way from fall kickoff, and Coach Kiffin likes to keep his cards close to his chest. So whoever is the front runner for that starting spot will likely remain a mystery for now. It all fell on the shoulders of Nizer Brooks, whose crucial loose ball rebounds and clutch free throws helped Ole Miss hang on and secure the 76-72 win over LSU. John Morant had the best dunk of the regular season, and now he may have the best dunk of the playoffs after he absolutely annihilated Malik Beasley of the Timberwolves last night. Morant has battled injury this season, but nothing like he battled on the court last night with one of the most compelling closing performances in recent postseason history. Nothing like kicking off a midweek series at Swayze with a Rebel win over ULM. The Dollar Dogs weren't the only things that were hot last night. True freshman Hunter Elliott had his first start on the bump in the blue and red. The day every Ole Miss fan has been waiting for, besides maybe football season, is here, the NFL Draft. Tomorrow we find out where our former gritty QB1, Matt Corral, is going to continue to play the game of football. All the mock drafts, all the predictions will soon prove those who say which round or which team player will be selected right or wrong. Scouts Inc. has Corral at the number 4 quarterback pick overall. And seeing fans flood the Grove and Vaught Hemingway Stadium on Saturdays has men's head basketball coach Kermit Davis looking forward to fans filling the stands and bringing that very same energy to the pavilion this season. Just up the road in Memphis, the Grizzlies entered last night's matchup against the Pelicans with a major message to deliver to the NBA and anyone else doubting what they can do. After losing 4 of their last 7 games and Sunday's fumble in Houston, Memphis had something to prove, and last night they made it loud and clear why they are one of the top teams in the league. Ole Miss men's basketball went up against a powerful number 6 Kentucky team last night in Lexington. Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson will have his day in court on Friday. A grand jury will hear evidence, and Watson will face questions for the first time in some of his pending civil lawsuits. There are currently 22 civil cases filed against Watson, which accuse him of a range of actions during massage appointments. Watson's attorney, Rusty Hardin, will instruct Watson to assert his Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate himself during his testimony in the civil case Friday. While a decision on criminal charges could come as early as Friday, Watson continues to be a source for NFL rumors despite his legal trouble. And as we all know, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin attended Ole Miss Pro Day and saw some of Matt Corral's stuff for himself. According to Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral is the most talented quarterback he's ever coached. We wish our former QB all the best and hope his future team gives him everything he gave this program and more. After entering his name into the transfer portal last week, Ole Miss senior guard Jarkel Joyner has announced that he's taking his talents to NC State. It's all on the line in Oxford today. The big dream for many Ole Miss football players is to make it to the NFL, and Pro Day is their last chance to showcase their talents before the draft. Earlier today, 18 former Rebels hit the gridiron to impress NFL scouts. All eyes were on former QB Matt Corral after his ankle injury during the Sugar Bowl. And it is true that the ladies do it best because the women of the Diamond got it done in their midweek doubleheader, scoring 27 combined runs and throwing a combined no-hitter over TSU. And fresh off a first-round exit from the team's first tournament appearance in 15 years, the Rebel women's basketball squad could be in need of a new coach. Ole Miss may be 1-2 after last weekend, but Lane Kiffin's Rebels impressed in more ways than one against the number 2 Crimson Tide. Ole Miss torched the Alabama defense, racking up 647 yards, and more importantly went 4 for 4 on 4th downs in a game that looks like what many are saying, basketball on grass. Matt Corral threw for 365 yards for Ole Miss, while running back Jerrion Ely had another career day, rushing for 120 yards on 19 carries with 2 scores. Looking to tomorrow's road test against the unranked Razorbacks, Coach Kiffin hopes to fix the holes in his Rebel defense while keeping the success on offense. Arkansas is coming off a hard loss to Auburn after beating Mississippi State the week before. Coach Kiffin and his Rebel offense are a force to be reckoned with, and Ole Miss fans can expect to see just that tomorrow with their not-so-secret weapons, Matt Corral, Jerrion Ely, Elijah Moore, and Kenny Yaboa leading the charge. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Ole Miss will be back in the Vaught next weekend as they take on Vanderbilt for Senior Day. I'm Emily Cochran, Newswatch Ole Miss.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm Emily Cochran. And today, the Mississippi State Department of Health reported yet another drop in new coronavirus cases. Across the world, people are voicing their support for Ukraine. And last night it happened just up the road in Memphis. A real estate snafu in Picayune, Mississippi after Tiffany Ingram's home was sold for $236 due to a housing mix-up. Miss Ingram's home was sold in a delinquent tax sale to a real estate agency called Viking Investments, but the sale was done by mistake. According to WLOX, it seems the builder, Benchmark Home Builders, built the house on the wrong lot, and the company stopped paying the taxes since the builder sold the house. Ingram, on the other hand, was paying taxes on a non-existent house next door. The Pearl River County tax assessor has documentation showing homes on both lots, even though that is not the case. No one was receiving the delinquent tax notices. Therefore, the county put the land up for sale. Ingram has heard nothing from the investment company who now owns her house, the builder, or the county. In national news, President Biden will give his first State of the Union address tomorrow night. Former President Bill Clinton's California trip ended in a visit to the hospital on Tuesday after feeling a little more than under the weather. According to the former president's doctors, this was not a heart-related issue. Clinton underwent heart bypass surgery in 2004 and had 2 stents inserted in 2010. It appears he is suffering from sepsis, a blood infection that resulted from a urinary tract infection, and he is being treated in the ICU for safety and privacy. Clinton also tested negative for COVID-19 and will be sent home as early as today with oral antibiotics. The UN climate report released today says the impact of climate change is now severe and widespread. This report, written by 270 researchers from 67 countries, says that dangers such as widespread droughts and rising seas are just the beginning as our planet continues to warm. Both nature and humanity could be too overwhelmed to adapt unless greenhouse gases emissions are quickly reduced. Global temperatures have already increased by 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the 19th century due to the pumping of heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere from burning coal, oil, and gas and cutting down forests. This report from the body of experts convened by the United Nations is the most detailed look at the threats posed by global warming to date. 2 new studies claim to provide definitive evidence that COVID-19 started in a wet market in Wuhan, China. According to the research posted online Saturday, the coronavirus did have its origin in a live mammal at the market in 2019. But instead of a bat, as we previously thought, the animal was more likely a raccoon, small dog, or similar-sized animal. This study joins a growing body of research that supports an animal-related origin for the pandemic. Neither article, however, has yet to be published in a peer-reviewed medical journal. Speaking of Target, in hopes to attract and retain staff, Target has raised its minimum wage to $24 an hour, a move that will cost the retail chain at least $30 million in investments towards pay and benefits for its employees. The change will apply to hourly workers at Target stores, supply chain facilities, and those at the corporate headquarters in Minnesota. Starting in April, store associates who work at least 25 hours a week are eligible to enroll in a Target medical plan. The previous plan required that employees work at least 30 hours a week to receive benefits. So roughly 20% of staff are newly able to receive Target's health care benefits. Thanks, Carson. The National Day today is as cheesy as it gets.
That's right, Emily. Stay tuned to see exactly which Midwestern treat is getting its time in the spotlight after the break.